Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's NMeade here as always. May 2020 is now in the books, which means we have a new month to review for world records. May 2020 was another exciting month for time trial, with 9 world records across 8 tracks. Let's get started. Kicking off May 2020, we had an epic yet unsuspecting world record on N64 Sherbet land glitch. On the first day of May, Japanese player Takemi would set his first world record in over 6 years, beating the previous world record set by Ross in August of 2019 by 1 millisecond. You heard that right, folks. Ross's former world record was a 1:17.754, and Takemi completes his run on May 1st, clocking in at 1:17.753. I am not sure if this is the first time it has happened, but the world record for N64 Sherbet land glitch now holds a 1 millisecond world record improvement and a world record tie in its history. 1 year ago, in May of 2019, the world record was lowered considerably after discoveries by Young at the time, showing that you can not only make the glitch landing on the other side, but you can also land the glitch with the Magic Cruiser as well. As before that time, it was only done with the spear. In that month, there was a world record tie between Ross and Logan, where they both set a 1:37.066. The novelty of this is so amazing to me. You would expect feats like this to be on tracks that have almost no variance at all, like SNES Mario Circuit 3, which is completely flat and has no obstacles or glitches, unlike this track. The precision required to pull off the pole clip on N64 Sherbet land just once with landing on the other side with 2 mushrooms is insane as it is. Now factor an even harder clip of just 1 mushroom reaching the checkpoint required to go backwards for the lap to count, and getting 2 bizarre instances like this in N64 Sherbet land's history. This was such a surprise as well, seeing Takemi set his first world record in over 6 years, with most of his history being his long-standing dominance on Coconut Mall glitch, with his last world record there lasting over 1,300 days. He would also make some sizable improvements in the Mario Circuit glitch world record in the latter half of 2013, with his last world record he drove being a 57.709 on Mario Circuit glitch in December of 2013. Takemi made a series of tweets regarding his run, the first one being just quote-unquote new world record, was showing his top 5 times after setting his run, and from the time difference, it appears that this is his first 2 for 3 glitch run he has completed. Takemi tweeted his run at the top of the CTGP leaderboards. With reliable Google Translate, this translated to, by the way, 1 millisecond difference. The last tweet Takemi makes in regards to his world record was actually quite insightful to read. Takemi mentions, "I was setting the fastest line with task video just before setting the record. That is why the last straight line is entered to the left. I don't know if it worked positively or negatively." Of course, we could say it did work positively since he was able to beat the world record, of course, but I do understand what he may be referring to. Although he cut the corner more favorably, his main turbo release was later than desired. But I don't blame him at all, by the way. Holding on to the very end and not falling off, and just overall having a good line into the finish line on a run like this must be beyond nerve-wracking. Looking at the Ghost comparison, some of you may wonder, how did Takemi's run actually beat Ross's run, based on the proximity of both runners, as Ross clearly looks he is a tiny bit ahead of Takemi. N64 Sherbet land's finish line is actually on a diagonal. Slowing this down, you can see just how much this can make a difference if your alignment is more to the left in Takemi's case. And from what I have heard, it is actually faster to ever so slightly wheelie tap to the left to finish further to the left than just letting the wheelie go at where it's aligned to. The marginal time loss from slight wheelie turns is made up from how much you save from finishing further left on the finish line. I'd like to highlight 3 things on the comparison of Takemi's run versus Ross. The first being the detriment and the benefit of either taking a long time to align for the glitch or committing to an alignment right away and just going for it. Takemi loses a great amount of time versus Ross on lap 1. Yet he saves a huge amount of time from almost how instantaneous he commits to his alignment for the lap 2 pole clip. Moving on, the most unfortunate part about Takemi's run is his recovery after respawning from making the second glitch. I'll let you guys watch what happened here. So the strategy after respawning is you must turn backwards while doing a standstill mini turbo and accelerate a little bit ways backward to hit the final key checkpoint to ensure the lap counts. Once you've reached that checkpoint, you must do a standstill mini turbo and turn forward, then accelerate to the finish line to continue your run. In order to do a standstill mini turbo, you must be at 0 kilometers per hour. Looking at Takemi's speedometer, he started turning too soon without being at 0 kilometers per hour first. Clearly by the comparison, this was quite a lot of time. Practically all of the time he saved over Ross with the alignment on lap 2. Lastly, we should give Takemi a huge shout out for the risky plays on lap 3, most notably on the shroomless crack hop, and I'm really not sure if he intended to cut this much off, but cutting this much off is crazy, and I chuckled at this when watching this back initially because that timing was so close to ending badly. We already saw how this ends in the comparison. Takemi and Ross went back and forth in tandem up until the last turn, and we get the end result of this new world record this month. The current best known splits as of today's upload date total a time of 1:12.007. Big congratulations to Takemi for this epic feat and driving your first world record in over 6 years. Moving on to May's next improvement, 1 day later on May 2nd, Luke would reclaim the world record on Mushroom Gorge no glitch. Luke beat Justin's previous world record by 17 milliseconds with a time of 1:41.053 and barely misses the sub 1:41 barrier with this improvement. Reaching out to Luke for feedback this month, Luke comments that overall the driving was clean in this new world record. The biggest time losses would come from a bad last mushroom section on lap 1, bounces in the cave turn lap 3, and a below average mushroom skip for the ending of lap 3. He explained that the spot that you hit on the red mushroom is important, especially in the cave section, highlighting the mushroom right before 2 green mushrooms in the cave. Luke said these were average to above average for him all 3 laps in this new world record run. Slowing this down, you can see that based on how you land on this mushroom and doing the drifting trick thereafter, he lands in almost the same spot every time. And this allows Luke to glide in a specific alignment to land almost on the very edge of the first red mushroom after the green mushroom section. Where you land on this first red mushroom is absolutely critical, as it will allow you to get the optimal airtime to land on the proper part of the second red mushroom for the mushroom skip at the end of the cave. Luke mentions his end goal for Mushroom Gorge no glitch is a 1:40. He has hit several paces that were on pace for this target time, including a 33.732 and a 33.596 run, which is currently the best known pace into lap 3. That run was only 16 milliseconds off the sum of the best lap 1 and lap 2 splits at the time, and they still are today, by the way. The lap 3 in that fail was very strong for Luke and would have been good enough for a mid 33.5 by his estimation, but ended up failing the last gap jump before the finish line, unfortunately. Luke believes this would have been good enough for a 1:40.8 time, being likely less than 50 milliseconds off the sum of the best known splits, which would have effectively shut down the category for quite some time by his estimation. Luke mentions this particular fail has been vaguely hanging over his mind ever since then, and hopes to redeem himself over that in the future. I am certainly of the opinion for a long time in this game that if you hit a pace once, you can most certainly replicate that again if you keep grinding for it. The current best known splits as of today's upload date give a time of 1:48.43. Congratulations on your improvement this month, Luke, and good luck on your future attempts. Now we head on to more glitch activity this month, this time on Wario's Gold Mine. On May 5th, Japanese player McRaren would reclaim the world record from Logan by 44 milliseconds, with a time of 32.073. McRaren tweeted about his improvement, commenting, "Finally, I took the world record back tonight. I'm still shaking and really happy. I'll keep playing this track until getting sub 32 seconds." And his Japanese portion of the tweet, the top part translates exactly the same and adds a bit extra at the bottom, mentioning, "I was finally able to recapture. For a while, I will run for the limit." Back in December of 2019, McRaren successfully returned to the scene on Wario's Gold Mine and reclaimed the world record over 9 years after he held it last in August of 2010. I'm really happy to see that he decided to continue trying to play the track and contend here beyond reclaiming the world record back in December initially. The main spots to look for in improvements at this point for Wario's Gold Mine glitch, as we went in depth in last month's video, is the speed of the pipe bounce, the recovery after making the pipe bounce with how fast you get the main turbo, and releasing the recovery standstill main turbo off the wall as soon as possible. I did mention last month as well that I felt the one place for improvement specifically for McRaren was in his recovery main turbo after the pipe bounce compared to Logan. And in this run, it does look like McRaren had a quicker recovery main turbo on laps 1 and 3. I have noticed that you can be in a drift when you clip through the floor, as opposed to hopping as he clipped through like what happened on lap 2 for McRaren. For sure, avoiding that hop through the floor will allow you to charge that main turbo quicker as well. But how feasible it is to be consistent with that, I would only assume is difficult to master. Overall though, congratulations McRaren on reclaiming the world record here once more, and good luck on your future attempts. Next up, we had an improvement on SNES Ghost Valley 2 No Glitch by Blaze. Blaze improves his own world record by 15 milliseconds, with a time of 52.781 on May 8th. This was definitely another unsuspecting world record that was improved this month in my opinion. In fact, I made a video that was over 2 hours long on the first day of 2020, reacting to all of the current world records at the time. When it came to this track, I commented that I thought his 52.796 world record was close to optimal, and I really couldn't see what else could be done here. I predicted at that time that his old world record wouldn't be beaten this year as well. Reaching out to Blaze this month, he had several comments for this new world record. Overall, Blaze states the run was quite consistent, with laps 1 and 2 being within 13 milliseconds of his best splits. Lap 3 should generally be around 15 milliseconds faster due to the blocks falling on the 3rd and 5th turns of the lap, but the lap 3 shortcut angle for this run was not great, which ended up accounting for the significant time loss in the entire run, putting him slightly behind his former world record. Blaze was able to beat his previous time due to a nearly perfect second to last turn, which the 52.796 does quite poorly by comparison. Blaze adds more feedback about this track as a whole as well, due to it being the shortest track in the game, for no glitch at least. Playing SNES Ghost Valley 2 at world record level requires you to do basically everything you can to make tiny time saves on every turn, then basically crossing your fingers that you get lucky with the sub-frame positioning on the shortcut ramps all 3 laps. With this track, Blaze tends to be in the mindset of never playing it safe and just going all out on all 3 laps, regardless of the pace, since every turn is just another potential time save. Blaze puts this into perspective nicely. Blaze actually tied the same world record twice on 2 separate occasions, tying his old 52.850 and 52.837 world records when they were both the current world records at their respective times. and this is not something Blaze thinks will likely happen on other tracks due to their length and or tech involved. We definitely had the anomalies on N64 Sherbet Land glitch, but I most definitely agree with Blaze's take here. I was intrigued to hear about his mindset and attitude towards runs on this track, and this category in particular, and it makes sense. The precision required on this track is face melting after a point in my opinion. You're grinding, fighting to save literally less than 10 milliseconds at some points with the risk of just losing the entire run altogether if you hit a wall, you miss a main turbo, or any other mistake you could make. On that note, the current best known splits as of today's upload date total a time of 52.670, making this new world record just 111 milliseconds off that sum of best now. Absolutely crazy. Since starting this video series at the end of 2018, this is the first time we've had this track with the no glitch category receiving a world record improvement. To that end, this is one of the last remaining world records that were from 2018 that have been taken down now. And it's hard to even believe that these times are still being improved from how difficult it is to set a world record these days. Congratulations on your improvement here, Blaze, and good luck for more if you decide to improve further. We had more activity this month on DS Peach Gardens. Alex continues to grind and makes a substantial improvement to the world record by 86 milliseconds this time around, setting a new world record of 159.097 on May 13th. Reaching out to Alex, Alex had a few comments about this run. Alex starts that he was genuinely not happy when he set this run. The final turn of the run left a bitter taste in his mouth, as it always does when he gets a stick staircase to finish out the run, and feels it's a shame as he couldn't enjoy the moment because of this happening at the end of the run. Alex mentions this run essentially came out of nowhere during a bad session, and distinctly remembered after seeing the lap 1 split, angrily saying out loud, "Finally a decent lap." He also remembers thinking the run would die several times during lap 2, specifically during the hedge maze when Funky Kong goes inside the hedges, and just before the hedge circle, saying it was literally a single tap away from crashing. Entering lap 3, he realized he might need to slow down a bit to avoid the chain chomp in the hedge maze, purposely doing a wider shroom to compensate, but did not anticipate bouncing after the mushroom. After bouncing on the way up the hill, he realized he needed to pick up the pace and go all in, which would explain the super tight entry into the hedge maze, and the first chain wheelie as well. Alex mentions needing to do a drop wheelie for the second hedge chain lap 3 to avoid crashing into the last hedge, or possibly exiting too wide, which would also lose a considerable amount of time, and feels that a chain or a half chain would have killed the run on the angle he had from getting the first chain wheelie. The second half of lap 3 was very good for Alex, aside from the last turn, and moreover feels that a proper stair clip to finish the run would have beat Brett's 159.043 run, which used pausing for the flower bed hop. Alex says the only real time loss was the stair stick and the fact that he could have been maybe 20 milliseconds closer to the chain chomp without hitting it, but had he not bounced after the mushroom on lap 3 and continued at the same pace in the run, he probably would have hit that chain chomp. Overall concluding that it's hard to time it exactly with all the randomness involved without racing on Ghost at least. To Alex, it's funny to him that, on paper, the time and splits look good to Alex and make him feel satisfied, but knowing he got cheated out of a better time from the final stair stick still haunts him to an extent, and compares this to getting a single trick versus a proper double trick on GCN Mario Circuit, which I can definitely understand from that analogy of my background on that track. Alex concludes that he will not be going for more improvements at this point, with the world record being up for grabs if anyone wants to challenge it. It is definitely quite unfortunate that this run ended the way it did, with having something bigger in the cards had it gone the proper way. However, I think this should not outshine just how great of a run and an improvement this was. This was a huge improvement compared to his first 3 world records last month, and also gets down to the 159.0 territory, which are 2 victories in my eyes. With that said, the current best known splits give a time of 1:58.827 as of today's upload date. And the world record is up for grabs as per Alex's words this month. Overall, big congratulations to you, Alex, on your improvement here. Next, we head back to the mall. Coconut Mall, that is. Coconut Mall had another improvement this month, with Brakeson continuing his grind here. Brakeson improved his previous world record he set last month by 36 milliseconds, with a time of 1:55.639 on May 13th. Brakeson says this run is probably his best run so far in terms of consistency in the splits, but it is still far from what he'd like here. Lap 1 was pretty good overall, except the upward spiral and the turn after, which cost a 38.3 lap 1. Lap 2 started with a full chain wheelie, but he unfortunately missed the wheelie on the escalator. Brakeson luckily landed right on the top and was able to wheelie before the boost ran out, but was angled too far to the left, causing a wide shortcut. The upward spiral was the only other big mistake in the lap, losing around 40 milliseconds by his estimation. Lap 3 started with an 88 drop wheelie and pretty low air on the stairs, explaining that the air you get on the stairs at the beginning of the lap matter even more on lap 3, as it's directly after a chain, and sometimes they can even make it so you can't wheelie because you wheelie too late on the last turn of lap 2. This is why we often see Brakeson nudging on the straight at the beginning of lap 3 or the end of lap 2. The shortcut on lap 3 was decent for Brakeson, but got a high trick on the little gray ramp exiting the shortcut, causing him to land far more to the right than he's used to. Brakeson quickly went neutral on the control stick when he saw that he was about to bonk, and that makes you get much less air when bonking on the side most of the time. So there was actually no time loss by bonking there from Brakeson's explanation. Brakeson had a decent escalator and turn after, but messed up the infi trick slightly. Brakeson comments that they didn't lose too much time at all, however. Finishing the lap, Brakeson says a good upward spiral and mall exit really made the lap, highlighting that he gained a bit of time from wheeling after the first boost panel in the parking lot, compared to his 6.75 run. That and a good last turn clutched out the improvement. Brakeson still intends on grinding this track down to at least a mid 155.5, but recently has got some laps and paces that makes him think that he could get a 155.4 or even lower, and a time like that on Coconut Mall no glitch would just be something else, beyond how crazy of a standard that it is already. Brakeson's best pace has gone from a 38.381, 38.700 to a 38.368 and 38.636, and his best lap 1 and lap 2 splits have gone from a 3.25 and 5.87 to 3.18 and 5.51 respectively, and failing lap 3s with the low trick on the second escalator, which could have been as low as a 38.1 on lap 3, although he is extremely inconsistent with that strategy for now. A 155.5 would be a really cool time to hit for Brakeson, as that would mean the world record has been improved by a full second since 2017, when Infi came with the new strategies, as the last world record before Infi was 156.602 by Yasha. And I still remember when Yasha returned to the game in 2017 and he reclaimed the world record on Coconut Mall at the time, and it would last for only one day, when Infi set a 156.503 with multiple new strategies for this track that would greatly update the way it is driven to present day. The current best known splits give a time of 155.222 as of today's upload date. Overall, congratulations on your improvement this month, Brakeson, and keeping up the consistent grind you have been on for this track for quite some time now, and good luck with your future attempts. Next, for the month of May 2020, we had another surprise world record, this time on GCN Peach Beach no glitch. On May 19th, Cole would reclaim the world record from Guy by 45 milliseconds with a time of 1:12.770. We can always count on Cole coming out of the woodwork every once in a while and showing up with a new improvement somewhere, but this time not being on Luigi's Circuit for a change. For a quick backstory, Cole is no stranger to GCN Peach Beach no glitch. Cole set his first world record here back in November of 2010 with a 1:13.261 at the time, and would consistently grind down the track from that point until hitting the first 112 with a 112.992 in June of 2012. And after being defeated by Liam in August of 2013, Cole did not improve his 112.992 further until now. Cole has some comments about his new run this month. Cole mentions the first 2 laps are pretty good, but he lost a lot of time at the end of lap 3 by hitting the grass on the second to last turn, then having a wide last turn. Cole explains the strategy for going right at the last cataquack is intentional, and goes for it every time. Cole estimates it could save 20 to 30 milliseconds if done well, but in his run it ended up losing time. Cole explains it's a tough strategy to do consistently, but the old strategy of getting the perfect line when going left of the last cataquack is also pretty hard. One of the time saves in Cole's run is going to the left of the cataquack on lap 2. Cole explains this strategy is more effective after getting a 23.8 on lap 1 to avoid more of the water, noting he did this strategy back in 2012 as well, since he preferred going for this alignment. However, back then it was not as effective, since it was rarer for him to get good lap 1s. The extra hop you may see on the first shroom of lap 1 that Cole does is also intentional, he explains. He does not think it saves time, but feels it helps his consistency a lot for some reason. Cole adds he failed a 112.6 run on the last turn, 10 minutes before his 112.770, as he did not get enough air, being a 23.885 and 25.103 paced run, with a 25.103 lap 2 being his best lap. Mentioning this is definitely one of the biggest fails he has ever had, and it would have been crazy for him to skip both 112.8 and 112.7. Cole mentions also hitting a 23.875 and 25.104 pace, which is his current best pace. Cole mentions further that the current best known splits are weak for this track, that they can be pushed down to a low 112.5 total, as there is a lot of potential left on this track. And personally for Cole, he has not hit any extremely strong laps yet. Cole said it took him around 3 weeks to get the world record back here, with 1 week at the end of 2019 and 2 weeks this year, with this being after not touching the track since its 112.992, which was set in 2012 as mentioned previously. Cole mentions the main reason he waited so long to return to this track was that he felt he was not good enough at chain wheelies to compete on this track back when he originally lost the world record in 2013. Since then, Cole states he has improved at timing chains over the years by playing other tracks, and he is ultimately glad that his run gets pretty good chains, totaling 5 full chain wheelies and 2 half chain wheelies. I really found this interesting when getting Cole's feedback this month. I have a video teaching how to time chain wheelies, which I'll have linked in the description below. But briefly, a perfect chain wheelie is a 1 frame timing and a 60 frame per second game, making it a very tight window to time it. Every other frame after the first frame for a perfect chain wheelie loses time incrementally, which you can see when you observe the speedometers on runs you may watch of other players' times. This definitely is another example that this skill can be learned, and you can get better at it if you invest the time to learn over an extended period of time, and the benefits are nicely displayed here. Cole closes his comments adding that he would like to hit a low 112.7 or a high 112.6 time if he continues playing this track. Seeing a 112.7 time here is already crazy as it is, but seeing it go down further would really be fun to see, and judging by this run with Cole's feedback, the time save is definitely there, especially with the untapped potential on the table currently from Cole's feedback. The current best known splits give a time of 112.657, which I'm sure we could expect to be lowered further, pending more activity on this track by Cole and potentially Guy and others playing this track in the future. Big congratulations to you, Cole, for reclaiming the world record here after losing the world record here nearly 7 years ago now. And good luck on future improvements if you decide to play further. The GCN Peach Beach activity did not stop here, however, ladies and gentlemen. On May 24th, one of the current longest lasting world records standing at over 1,000 days old, and one of the last world records from 2017 was taken down. Arrow would reclaim the world record after his last world record here in 2017, beating Breaks' former world record of 1 minute 395 by 346 milliseconds with a time of 1 minute 049, barely missing out on the 1 minute sub. I definitely feel the month of May had a lot of unsuspecting world records being set on tracks and categories we would not expect, and these two world records on the glitch and no glitch categories of GCN Peach Beach are no exception. Reaching out to Arrow for feedback, Arrow mentions he was playing this track again for 10 days prior to setting this new world record. Lap 1 was the weakest lap in the run, stating it is over 200 milliseconds off of the best known split due to several factors. It did not get a good curb ride or good first turn, in comparison to the best known split on lap 1 set by Blaze and his 1 minute 882 PB. Arrow unfortunately dropped to 95 kilometers per hour by the last set of Cataclacks and had to hop onto the last turn rather than stick to it because his angle was bad into the turn, and leading into the first glitch into lap 2 that this glitch was actually pretty slow compared to a second one entering lap 3. Laps 2 and 3 in Arrow's run were both pretty strong for Arrow standards, with both of these splits being new best known splits. Although they were not perfect, Arrow says there were nothing glaringly bad about both laps either. Arrow does comment on the last chain wheelie to end the run. Not getting the full chain wheelie at the end of lap 3 costs around maybe 40 milliseconds, but not enough to give the sub 1 minute time, as he refers back to the lap 1 of this run being the biggest difference in the time being the current time versus a 59-second time in the end. Looking towards the future of GCN Peach Beach glitch, Arrow says he would love to go for the sub 1 minute milestone, mentioning he has been for a while after this run, but it is going to be very hard to do. Arrow mentions the other option is going for a 3-for-3 glitch run, mentioning the lap 1 glitch isn't that hard to do, but it's really hard to make a 3-for-3 glitch run in of itself, of course. And for those wondering what the other glitch is you can do on lap 1 here, you can clip off the third tree right over here and clear the hillside right to the beach area, which is around maybe a 2-second time save in comparison to the best known split. I think going for a 3-for-3 glitch run here will be quite a feat to see if pulled off, with Breaks' former world record here being beaten this month by Arrow. That is one of the longest lasting world records defeated, that also surpassed 1,000 days. As of today's upload date, there are 23 world records in Mario Kart Wii's history that have surpassed that 1,000 day mark, and it is quite surreal for this one to be taken down. In that reaction video to all the current world records at the start of 2020 I mentioned earlier in this video, I felt this record wouldn't be improved this year, with not hearing any activity for this category in quite some time back then. Well, as we can see here, and with many other world records this year, we can have a lot of surprises at any time still. Arrow would set his first world record here back in July of 2016, and would set his last world record here at the time in January of 2017. On that note, a big congratulations to you, Arrow, for coming back and reclaiming the world record here, and good luck on further attempts here. Wrapping up the activity of May 2020, we had an improvement on Bowser's Castle glitch. Closing out May on his final day, May 31st, Jared would set his first world record here, beating the previous world record by Blaze by 7 milliseconds, with a time of 2:09.106. Jared has some feedback for his run this month. Jared mentions the lap 1 castle was fantastic, especially considering he had stuck to the 4th staircase, mentioning this usually ends up in a tiny bit of time loss. The lap 1 glitch was pretty good for his standards, and got the wheelie alignment after a fast glitch which saved some more time. Completing lap 1, the last turn he got a few micro bounces, causing his wheelie to not come out, but mentions this may have in fact saved the run because he bounced over the grass as a result. On lap 2, he got a low first ramp, which lost around 50 milliseconds from an optimal ramp by his estimation, and mentions that a bad ramp can lose almost 200 milliseconds at its worst in comparison to the one he got in this lap. Jared managed an optimal carpet section, getting 3 fast low tricks and landing on the stairs without bouncing at all. The second turn was pretty slow, but did not lose much time, but unfortunately stuck to the 4th staircase again like in lap 1, losing some time. The glitch lap 2 was pretty optimal for Jared, apart from not having a wheelie alignment after landing. The geyser section at the end of lap 2 he feels may have saved a little bit of time compared to his normal patterns in his runs. The lap 3 first ramp was great, followed by semi-optimal carpet tricks, then sticking to the staircase afterward and getting a bounce at the bottom of the stairs, causing the main turbo to be a bit slow. As it was the trend with this run, he unfortunately stuck to the 4th staircase on all 3 laps, losing a tiny bit of time each lap as a result. The lap 3 glitch was kind of slow for Jared's standards, but he was still off-screening Blaze's world record at this point in the run, so he mentions he was not worried at this part in the run. Jared points out the biggest mistake of his run is the very end of lap 3, with the geysers unfortunately, which cost a considerable amount of time, showing both views of Jared's perspective and Blaze's perspective, and almost choking away the world record for the 75th time, Jared says. Jared concludes this track is very improvable, and he wouldn't be surprised if we saw an improvement from either himself or Blaze anytime soon. His current best splits give a time of 2:08.5, but he personally does not keep track of splits that well, as they're very deceiving on this track, which I agree with Jared here. Like in the case of the end of lap 2 in this run, depending on how the geysers go, you can have almost an entire trick boost going into lap 3, which skews that lap split with having that entire boost in it. All in all, big congratulations to you, Jared, on driving your first world record. It's most definitely a relieving and satisfying feeling and accomplishment. Best of luck on future attempts here. And that's all, folks. That was a jam-packed month with 9 world records on 8 unique tracks, which was definitely very exciting seeing that many tracks improve this month, just as it happened last month as well, with 8 tracks having improvements, but 18 world records for April 2020. The tally for 2020 world records so far up to May 2020 is 52, averaging just over 10 world records per month. As always, I greatly appreciate all the support with all the videos uploaded with the different series that run on the channel. There's certainly a lot more on the way for 2020, so if you'd like to see more videos just like this, please do give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, as it really helps with the growth of the channel and to be up to date with the newest uploads. Thank you all once more, and I'll be seeing all of you next month, where we will review the monthly world record activity for June 2020. Take care.